Talk about a crazy day. We've got wild stories plus your questions. So let's get started.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, man. What a day. The stunning stupidity of today is killing me. I hope you guys are doing great. I'm burning up. I'm dying here. I'm dying. Look at this. Look at this. I'm pulling my hair out. The Prepared Mind computer has crashed. Thankfully, we're running off of the Prepared Mind backup laptop. And I've duct taped my cell phone to the old Prepared Mind computer so I can at least see what the hell is going on around here. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great. I feel like Dr. Frankenstein studying this monster that they call the federal government, the International Globalist Union of Dumbasses. Woo! Unbelievable. So I come back down the ladder, right? I say, thanks, Ooman, very much. Come back down the ladder, go to turn on the computer, type in my password, and it says incorrect. And I'm like, no, that is the password. So I type it again. That's incorrect. I said, no. This has been the password for a long time. This computer, folks, the Prepared Mind computer, has been in operation since I was in the palatial Prepared Mind bunker, back when I was married, back when I had a house, back when my kids didn't have any hair on their testicles, a long time ago. Wow, long time ago. This computer's been in operation, I guess, since 2015. So I did like 10 hard reboots, put in my password. It says, oh, okay, welcome back, John. It's like, good morning, Dave. If you guys remember the movie, right, 2001 or whatever the hell it was, Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey, right? It was the HAL 9000. Good morning, Dave. How are you? Right? The computer's like, hey, hello, John. Welcome back. And it won't open any programs. It's like, there's a problem. I'm like, yeah, Houston, there's a fucking problem here. My computer's not working. How am I supposed to report? How am I supposed to do my satire from the Prepared Mind computer? It's crashed. Oh, good God. Now, thankfully with you guys, I got a lot of practice at the RMZ, essentially working off of the laptop. Off the cell phone. I did so much off of the cell phone in the jungle. It's astounding. Astounding. Oh my God. Now I'm returned to jungle quality stuff plus laptop. Oh my God. And the world has gone nuts, folks. There is stunning stupidity. SHTupidity. There's stunning stupidity. Get this. Ready? Oh, by the way, welcome to the Q&A monologue session of the Prepared Mind channel. I'm going to have to find a new computer. This is crazy. That means I'm going to have to go climb out of the bunker, go to a store and try and buy one for like under $100. I don't even know if that's possible. What do computers cost these days? Anyways, welcome back. You guys, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be right here doing this. The stupidity is crazy. Get your questions in. Folks, I get the first half hour. You guys get the second half hour. I'm running right now on adrenaline and like an alcohol-fueled funny dragster. I don't know. Is that appropriate these days? Liz Warren, Senator Liz Warren, idiot extraordinaire, Democrat, of course, demands that J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs name their clients who are trading in Russian debt. Do we need more people saying Russia's the bad guy? Don't you and I, don't you think we've heard enough that Russia is the bad guy? Is there any question that Vladimir Putin has a red pointy tail, cloven hooves, and he has to grind down his frickin' horns on his head every day, just like Hellboy, and then paint him white so that we don't know he's the actual devil? Unbelievable. You know what would be funny? Wouldn't it be comic genius if the banks, folks, if the banks had the balls that some people have, the banks would name her friends, her family, and her donors, right, that are the beneficiaries of the trading that is going on with Russian banking clients she has. Oh, just this, it's just painful, folks, painful. Painful. Just breathe in, breathe out. I don't know, this job is crazy. I love this job. I love doing it. I love coming here. But it's like every freaking week, something tries making it so I can't come back. Computer down. Job problems, issues, car problems. Everything's trying to conspire to break us, folks, but I ain't quitting. No. There'll be none of that kind of talk. Because preparing, working with you, working with everybody, it is the most important thing in my life. Love my sons, yes. But this is my daily grind. This is my penance. This is my job. This is my thing, is getting prepared for the shit that's coming, folks. It's coming. It's here. It's hit the fan, right? It's hit the fan big time. Over in Italy, I think they've realized it too, right? Mario Draghi, right? Mario Draghi, right? He's warning that war could bring drastic changes from Europe, right? The war that could bring drastic changes for the European Empire. Yeah, no shit, Draghi. Where the fuck have you been? You think so, pal? Yeah, you're going to get a little bit of smart-ass John today. I've been trying to fix this freaking computer for hours. It'll make you pull your hair out, right? That's a small piece compared to the giant mess that's been created. Yes, Mario, over in Italy, not only did you screw the entire European Union by working with certain people with the last name of Rickards, not only did you screw all that up and the gold and the monetary system, almost didn't even make the European Union happen, and it shouldn't have, but you're still in a position of power, authority, influence, and you're just now warning that war with Russia could have drastic consequences for all the European nations. Folks, can we give him the gold clap? No shit, Mario, folks. See, this is the part about being me and you. Simpatico, huh? It's a bella vista, huh? Che pazza fare mio? Hey, we're good. We have been working on getting prepared. Let me ask you this, do you have food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense? These are our things. You've got to have them, folks, because they're starting to come out in public. They've started a conflict. They're calling it a war. They're saying, oh my gosh, we didn't know there'd be consequences of the war. I guess we have inflation now. Higher fuel prices, food shortages, right? We're going to have drastic changes for Europe. Yeah, you ain't kidding. Now, here's the deal, folks. This really is the thing. You see, when I grew up, I thought the world had always been like the 1970s or the 1980s. I'd heard of the 1960s, all those stinking hippies, and the 1950s. I don't even know what to call them. But I thought, basically America was America. We'd figured it out. We knew that freedom was good. We knew that low taxes was excellent. We knew all kinds of stuff about the world. Those silly communists are bad and socialism is evil. We knew some basic stuff. And then what? Changes. What I didn't realize as a young man was that The world is forever changing. We go from evil empire to evil empire to evil empire, but there was this funny thing that happened on the way to the moon. A funny thing happened on the way to the moon as we figured out freedom, that people should rule themselves, that they should govern their own lives. We should. We should govern our own lives. Somehow, though, the powers that be, that happened, and oh shit, did they cause a problem? And they're like, well, how do we get the shit back in the camel, right? How do we convince the people that being free was wrong? It's just gotten way out of control. Since 1776, these crazy people in America, be they white, be they black, be they from the north or the south, it doesn't matter. They love being free. Oh, yes, they do. Now we've got to take it away from them, right? We got to strangle them until they're begging, until they, oh, wait, here we are in 2022. Klaus Schmidt says, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. They've tried that system, folks, from 1776 backwards, the wrong frickin' way, all the way back to the beginning of time, when some asshole with the bigger stick beat the living shit out of the guy with the smaller stick and then said, everyone, whatever you have is now mine, and you will be happy. That's right. The guy with the biggest stick beat the shit out of everyone else, took their stuff, and then said, you will be happy. I'm in charge. That was the first government. The first government. A dude with a bigger stick. Now, here's the deal. I'm a really big guy. I'm 6'6". I'm 265 pounds. Right? I can beat the fuck out of a lot of people with a stick. And shouldn't my life be just grand because of that? No, because the old axiomatic eternal expression of there's always a bigger fish, which means there's always a bigger dude who has a bigger stick. Anyways, point is now they're beating us on the head with a freaking stick. I tell you, I'm losing my fucking mind. Not really. Folks, I'm 100% sober, in control. I know what's going on. Shit's hit the fan. I hear you up there walking around. Right? Shit's hit the fan. All is good. Semper Fi to you. Prost, salute. Wow. 18-year Scottish water. Okay. Behind the formidable Prepared Mind phone of information is the Prepared Mind computer. It is still failing to do the job. Just like our government, folks. Just like the government. Failing to do its job. What was the government's real job, folks? What was its mission, its purpose? To protect our rights, to protect our liberties, to protect the nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. They failed. Unbelievable. This is incredible. What could be next, folks? What do I say? What do you say? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Okay, and a plan. Food, yeah, food. What are they doing to our food? What are they doing to our food? They're taking our food, right? They're making it harder to get. They're making it more expensive. They're giving us fewer supplies. And who are they hitting first? Of all people, the ones that we're hearing the biggest complaints about are children, babies, infants, formula shortages. Unbelievable. What else are we hearing about shortages? You can expect it, folks. Fuel. Fuel is coming. Fuel shortages, whether it's natural gas, propane, gasoline, diesel, right? Well, what's going on in Europe? Because the bad shit seems to be happening in Europe first, right? You got Russia, then Europe, then you got England here, and then you cross the Atlantic to America, and right. So like shit is rolling, back to us. Ukraine cuts off natural gas to Europe, And guess what? Europe is being smashed with an inflation double whammy. Inflation double whammy. Not only do they have, the problems with their currency failing. Oh, yeah, you think the dollar is going bad? This is what's incredible, folks. The U.S. dollar, we have huge inflation, right? Like the dollar is it's doing this, but your purchasing power is doing this. Remember, we, as the global reserve currency, the U.S. dollar, the Federal Reserve note, we have the most purchasing power, but it's going down. So if we're going down at this rate, the rest of the world is going down at a much faster rate. Europe is seeing massive inflation. And now to add to it, Ukraine has cut off the gas. We talked about this a little bit. Ukraine has decided they're very mad at Russia, very mad. And so they're not going to allow Russia to make money off the pipeline that runs through Ukraine. So they're out there shutting off the little wheel. They're like, squeak, 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 shutting off the valve. And they're like, hey, fuck you, Europe, or fuck you, Russia, right? But the people behind them are the very same people supporting them. It's like Europe's like, hey, Ukraine, we've been giving you tanks and missiles and stuff so you can fight those nasty Russians, but would you mind turning the freaking gas back on so we can have some hot water, some power for our power plants? You see, when I say governments are good at one thing, they're good at fucking stuff up, right? If they're very incompetent, they're unreliable, they're slow. But if they're good at one thing, it is making shit worse. And this is why you and I have a chance to defeat evil, defeat totalitarianism, to defeat this globalist world empire of numbskulls in SHTF, is because they're absolutely incompetent. They haven't figured out that, they could, folks, very gradually massage economy, politics, the world, massage us to where everything was so good. We're like, yeah, we're ready to evolve into this next level of evolution, human evolution, government, society, blah, 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 blah. They could sell us on that if things were good. If we had all the money we needed, all the food we needed, the quality of life we needed, the standard of living we needed, satisfying jobs, families, utopia. They could allow utopia to happen, but instead they're like, screw us. We're going to fuck everything up, right? They're so greedy, so stupid, so incompetent that they fuck everything up, and then they demand their new utopia. And they're like, why don't the people want what we're offering them? We're like, dude, we've seen what you've offered for the last 20, 30, 50, 80, 100 years, and it's always worse. It's worse than. And they're like, but you have computers now, and you have cars, and you should be willing to give up everything you own and be happy. And we're like, really? Did you just say that to us? We should be willing to give everything up because you haven't screwed up 100% of the time. You've only screwed up 90% of the time. We should trust you, Nancy Pelosi. We should trust you. I'm floored, folks. Oh, by the way, I know I'm on like a 100 mile per hour rant-a-hola, right? Get your questions into Jolene. We've got a great crowd here today. I see that we've got a lot of comments. We got a lot of comments coming out there. I hope Uman's having fun with that. Jolene, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for all that you do. But when I get done with this broadcast, I am going to be trying to salvage this computer system because I need to keep an eye on what the hell is going on out there. Folks, a militant left-wing Democrat activist group is taking credit for the arson at the Wisconsin pro-life organization That's where they had firebombing, Molotov cocktails, and spray paint on their wall that said, if the right to abortion isn't safe, then you're not safe. They spray painted on the wall. First off, the FBI should be there to study the handwriting and find out whose graffiti that is. Number two, they need to go to the local college and start arresting freaking left-wing activists. Mystery solved. Anyways, these idiots are now promising, quote, increasingly extreme tactics. Oh, really? You're promising that? Increasingly extreme tactics. Now, here's the good part. I'm going to give you some good news. SHTF good news. You and I have been dealing with this shit for 2+ years now. Since March of 2020, we've been dealing with radical extremist leftist idiot groups, radical extremist leftist idiot governments at the federal level, the state level, the local level. We've been dealing with it. We're ready. We're now ready with you guys, right? You don't scare us anymore. We are prepared. You guys are a bunch of indoctrinated saps living in your mother's basement. Oh, it's time. It's time. You know, but the left, folks, the radical left, they really hate America. They hate America, folks. I mean, so we got these college idiots at the very bottom. We're going to have increasingly extreme tactics for what? Because you don't like the fact that the federal government actually has no constitutional authority to tell anyone what to do. Now, here's the thing, folks. If the U.S. government in Washington, D.C. decided to tell these losers, and they are losers, these losers in college, that they have to go down and get a shot, and there's 50% chance they're going to die, do you think they'd do it? You're like, no way, man. I know enough about percentages not to get that shot. Well, no. The government's the boss. You just told us, right? And so that you want extreme government, well, you got it. Well, they don't like that, folks. At the very bottom, all they want is violence and mayhem because they see no future. I haven't gone over this in a long time, but the psychology behind these losers is they have no future. Consequently, they don't have any problem destroying things. So increasingly violent attacks are going to continue. But at the very top of the shit heap, we've got some audio, folks. And it's from Lindsey Graham. And it is shocking. Bombshell audio recording of Lindsey Graham. Now, Lindsey Graham is the greatest Republican statesman in the Republican. No, he's not. He is a wishy-washy, mishmash, mushy mouth, bubblegum butted, skinny jeans wearing ancient turd of a human being who has tried to pretend to be a statesman for years. Lindsey Graham, Senator, Republican rhino, said that the United States, the nation, is going to unify around Biden after January 6th. Right? Because he, quote, may be the best person to have, right? Seriously, folks, what the hell happened? What planet are we on? What deranged a-hole wrote the script that you and I are having to live out? Can it get more stupid? Really, folks, really, I mean, I call this stunning stupidity. The stupid is incredible, from the college morons all the way to the Lindsey Grahams at the top, the incompetence, the lack of any sort of intelligence. And really, what the point is not just to call them bad names, but to say we need to be prepared. In a very sober, honest, frank tone of voice, I want to say we had best be prepared. Because they can't even stay on script. You need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. They can't stay on script. They can't follow a program. They're programmed to take down America is so perverted and disgusting that it won't even agree with itself. You have radical feminists who hate the gender bender crowd, the LGBTQ plus people, because they hate everyone and everything, and they hate each other. It's unbelievable, folks. The destruction they're calling for is on a social, cultural, traditional, and moral basis. Tradition, they want totally gone. Tradition, bad. Morality is what makes you feel good on any day. Wow. Get your questions in. I haven't even gotten done ranting to get to all of the news articles that have happened today. Folks, you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. You need this. Major trucking corporations are preparing for, quote, imminent diesel shortage in the eastern half of the United States. A diesel fuel shortage means what? Nothing's going to be transported the way it used to be transported. There's going to be fewer fuel deliveries, food deliveries, goods and goods. People want goods. You want a new couch, you want a new TV, you want this. You want the store you're going to have the things that are supposed to be there. And not just, folks, not just interstate commerce where they're running the big rigs, the 18-wheelers, breaker, convoy, all that shit. If there's a diesel shortage, those same truckers deliver fuel. Fuel from fuel depots to fuel stations that goes into your Amazon, UPS, FedEx. All of their trucks take fuel too. And if there's going to be a fuel shortage in diesel, meaning they can't deliver stuff, they can't deliver goods, they can't deliver diesel for other trucks, they can't deliver gasoline for your automobile, right? This leads to food shortages, parents, your parents, the elderly, right? Children, taxpayers. Fuel shortage means how much inflation are we going to be hit with? And what is Biden doing? The president of the United States. See, they assume for themselves this mantle of authority. I'm the president and I have executive orders and I'm going to do this. The son of a bitch cut the Keystone Pipeline off and said, no more, done. Stroke of a pen, stopped billions and billions and billions of dollars going to complete a pipeline. The stroke of a pen. Joe dumbass Biden. Take that piece of paper and fuck everyone in America. That is exactly what he did. Folks, why isn't anyone saying it? I'll say it. Do I want you to be violent? No. Do I want you to do anything dangerous or harmful? No. I'll say it. The son of a bitch is killing us. He's killing the country. But Lindsey Graham said, oh, really? Lindsey Graham said, did he? Really? Thanks, Lindsey Graham. Bombshell audio of Lindsey Graham. Boy, yeah, the nation's going to unify around Biden after January 6th. He's the best person to have, right? Yeah, he's the best person to have. I couldn't feel better about my chance of surviving this freaking year. Folks, the only thing that is keeping me afloat is you guys. You guys hit the super chat donation. You hit the thank you donation button. You hit, right? You go to patreon.com and you subscribe there. That's what's keeping me here. Otherwise, I'm out pounding nails all the time. I'm out doing contracting type work. That's what these people are doing. They're putting us on the ropes. They're making us struggle. They're making our lives more difficult. The best thing you can be is prepared. And then after you're prepared, be informed so that you can prep to action. It is just unbelievable, folks. And what's going on with the people of America. Let me give you a little flavor, a little taste. Americans are mostly hopeless. Hopeless. I talked about Antifa and BLM and all these young people They're out there. They're like, fuck everyone, destroy everything, burn, loot, murder, right? They got nothing to live for, nothing to look forward to. Now, when I grew up, I had everything to look forward to. The marriage, the house, the kids, the white picket fence, the job, the this, the that. America, great, right? That's what I was looking forward to. Now, under Biden, the overdose death rate has reached record highs under Biden because those young people who don't want to go out and burn, loot, and murder, there's a huge percentage, folks, that are now committing suicide. Gee whiz, I wonder how that happened. I tell you what, I'm going to turn the show over to you guys because it is your channel, your super chats, your Patreon contributions, everything. That's why I do a 1 hour monologue and then Q&A, question and answer. So you guys can bring up what you want to talk about and what is happening that you have seen. You can have a question. You can have a statement. You can have an idea. You can have a joke because, folks, we've all seen lots of joking. And right? There's a huge joke in Washington. It's also a huge freaking tragedy. Any event, let's get to the Q and the A.
Are you ready?
Woo! I tell you, what is today? Is it? Holy cow, it's hump day. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know if I'm at the top of the hump or the bottom of the hump. I feel like I'm at the bottom and everyone's just rolling on over the top of me. Unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. What do you want to discuss? What's on your mind? Jolene has your questions. This is your chance to shine. I'll make you famous, or you can be anonymous. It's up to you. But if you see something, if perhaps we've all missed a point, and it's easy to do, because it's not like we're looking at just the monetary system and going, there's a problem with the monetary system. This isn't good. We don't like this. This is going to lead bad places. It's not just the monetary system, right? It's the economy. It's education. It's the military. It's the finance system. It's the legal system. It's the federal system, the state system, the local system, the international system. It's the supply lines. It's the infrastructure. It's power. It's manufacturing. It's raw material. Everything is jacked up. So let's do this. Hey, it's Cottage Farm. I tell you what, if there was one name I wanted to see up there, it was Cottage Farm. Because I get this feeling of optimism from Cottage Farm. Cottage Farm says, I wonder if the Musk brain chip will get inserted in all humans. And that's how we will own nothing and we will be happy. He did say his chip cures diseases, similar to masking pain. I'll tell you what, I did not expect this question. There's this idea that you and I will all become one, right? With the brain, some kind of brain implant, some kind of neural implant that unifies us with the internet. This how do we say it? They want us all to be part of a hive mind where we all share our knowledge and experience with one another by interacting with our neural transmission into the supercomputer system. And the supercomputer stores every response, every emotion, every feeling that we ever had, right? Tell you what, that computer will melt to the ground if it had to deal with more than a handful of us who have had any real life experiences. But I think Cottage Farm might be kind of pointing to when she says, how will we own nothing and we will be happy, right? Or that's how we will own nothing. There's this process. I don't even know if they teach about it anymore because I haven't heard anyone talk about it in years. a lobotomy, to be lobotomized. What they do is they go in through the eye socket up into the front of the cranium, right, the forehead, and they snip some nerves. And those nerves lead to the human mind that controls emotion. How do you know you're happy unless someone tells you you're happy when you're lobotomized? How do you know if you're unhappy? Right? The lobotomized human. Interesting, huh? Do you think that the scientists don't know, or do you think that they do know what area of the brain to stimulate to produce a feeling of euphoria, happiness? I'll tell you what, they do know exactly where to stimulate. They can lobotomize someone, insert neural, right? How shall we say it? Neural stimulus implants, so that if you behave properly, you'll be rewarded with feelings of bliss, happiness. You can own nothing. You can work your ass off. You can create wealth for someone else, but you don't need to own any of it. You have a bed. You have a box with your stuff in it, and you will feel happy, euphoric. You'll be satisfied because they control us all. This whole thing with Elon Musk, folks, I have no problem commending him. Very good, Elon, for triggering these left-wing lunatics. But I do not worship or follow Elon Musk or anyone else. And I know this sounds strange, but I would rather be me and live in my life, whatever pleasures and misery it has, than to live a life as a slave, feeling the implanted levels of satisfaction or dissatisfaction coming from a bunch of assholes who think that they own me. And folks, remember this. As much as you could feel happy with owning nothing, don't you think they could flip the switch the other way? And you could feel sad, upset, mad, and angry if they have a neural implant in your brain? They could trigger it the opposite way and make you feel very mad and angry at yourself. Right? You make a decision and you're thinking, this is good for me, and then you feel anger and what happened, right? They're controlling your mind. I'm not a big fan of mental control through pharmaceuticals or electronics or broadcast radiation. I'm not happy with any of that. The idea of being your own person and free. If these technocratic bastards have their way, they will manipulate us to the extent that they can. It's a scary world, folks. It is 1984 on steroids. And once again, Cottage Farm, one, thank you for all the support you've given the channel. Number two, thank you for the great topics you provided for the channel. And number three, right? Just remember, they are incompetent. They are fools. They're going to destroy themselves probably faster than they try and destroy us. And once one of these groups, one of these elitist bastard groups thinks that they're in charge, someone else is going to try and steal it from them. And they will fight and they will destroy it. If that was not the case, if greed, corruption, and perversion was not the result of their evil, then, folks, we would be living in the ancient Persian Empire. That's right. The Persian Empire, 3,000 years old, would still exist if the human condition could handle its megalomania. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire, same story. The Roman Empire, Rome, right? If they weren't a bunch of corrupt, evil, perverted bastards, we would be living in the Roman Empire. 1,000 years ago, the Muslims reached their zenith, their greatness. They were the mathematical, philosophical. They were incredibly, folks, compared to the rest of the world, they were at the top. The Ottoman or Muslim Empire was huge. It spread throughout the Middle East, the Near East, Northern Africa. Corrupt, perverted, destroyed themselves. Thank you very much, Cottage Farm, and for all your support. Folks, I'm telling you what, share that email address. Share that, internet address. We've got to get the word out. People need to be prepared. These idiots are bringing this system down hard. We got Bonnie Blue. And thank you, Bonnie, also for all that you do in front and behind the scenes. Thank you. She says, Biden is trying to turn over U.S. sovereignty of health over to the CCP and the World Health Organization by executive action, executive order, and bypass the U.S. Senate treaty approval process that gives the World Health Organization power over health emergencies. This topic is so huge. The idea, folks, that an international organization, not elected, so thereby we have no representation, not elected, not born in our country, unfamiliar with our constitutional processes, decides that they want over a healthcare emergency to have jurisdiction, power, authority. This idea is so anti-American, it's unbelievable. But what the powers that be want to do is point to the Constitution and say, John, there's this idea that international law, when ratified by the U.S. Senate, supersedes the Constitution. And I don't understand, folks. This is some kind of ridiculous loophole, retarded mentality. So what you're saying is that it goes God, Constitution. No. God, people, Constitution creates the government. And through the Constitution and the government comes the House of Representatives, the Senate, et cetera, et cetera. So way down here, the Senate can authorize a law, a treaty that goes all the way back up to the very top and tells us, the people, what to do. Right? Because it goes God, people, Constitution, government, Senate, House of Representatives, courts, etc. Way down here. Right? They're off the screen. That's how low and loathsome they are. Anything that is unconstitutional or anti-constitutional cannot stand. There cannot be a law ratified by senators coming from outside the United States of America that comes onto our shores. Okay, follow me here. And then says your Constitution doesn't matter. That's like giving the U.S. Senate the power to throw away the Constitution. Right? What if the United Nations passed a treaty that said the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third, Fourth, Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, 10th, all the way through is no longer applicable. It's all thrown out. In fact, all people are to be slaves to Bill Gates. That's the new emergency health treaty. And the Senate ratified it. Do you think for a freaking second that you should abide by any law that is that grotesque just because a bunch of stupid senators signed it? No, that makes no more sense to say that a law written by a foreign body that throws out our entire Constitution is now the law of the land. That makes no more sense than to say, well, just for healthcare emergencies in a pandemic, where the World Health Organization knows what it's talking about, can we suspend parts of the Constitution, like your rights? Just that little teeny bit. No. If you can throw out 1%, you can throw out 100%. No, you don't get to throw out any of our Constitution. Any foreign law, treaty that was brought to the United States to ratify and become part of our law has to fall into line with the Constitution. It doesn't become superior. It becomes part of the law of the land, but it has to fall into line with the constitutional mentality. And that is the people are sovereign, and that we have a government created by the people, elected by the people to serve the people. No law supersedes those other concepts. So let's try this again. God, people, Constitution. That's the basic laws of the land. Under the Constitution, we have the Bill of Rights, other really important parts of the law of the land. And then under that comes these treaties and other laws, but they cannot supersede or go above themselves, right? You can't. But that's what they're going to try and convince us. That's what they want us to believe, is that the World Health Organization has power in case of health emergencies. Who declares there to be a health emergency? A bunch of experts, some doctors, some politicians. They go, oh, look, I found an ink pen and it has some ink in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ink on a piece of paper. And now your rights no longer exist. Wrong. But most people will believe it. But then again, most people are freaking retards. And they don't understand the law of the land. They don't understand their own rights. They don't understand that they have been blessed with a soul and a mind, and that they've been charged with living as a human being responsible for themselves. Most people aren't there, folks. Not anymore. There's very few of us left. And the people in charge know it, and they're continuing to push us, folks. They're trying to push us, right? I want to give you one example. Senator Joe Manchin. He's a Democrat, folks. He's a Democrat out of West Virginia. He says that he is a no vote on the radical abortion bill. Now, he's going, John, what is Senator Joe Manchin and the Democrats and the Roe versus Wade abortion bill, what does that have to do with Bonnie Blue's comment about the World Health Organization and them taking over through Senate treaties, etc., to destroy national sovereignty? Well, what Joe Manchin demonstrates is how far, folks, the intelligence levels have fallen. What he has proved, folks, is that there is at least one living brain cell among Democrats. But when you look at the rest of them and you listen to the rest of them, they have no concept of logic, critical thinking. They have no idea, folks, what they're doing other than how do we work around stuff? How do we lie clever enough? How to create the situation bad enough that people will believe our bullshit? Senator Manchin has one brain cell, and it's, I'm going to vote no on this abortion bill. That's how little there is left of intelligence amongst the Democrats. That is how little there is left of the American spirit in the Democrat Party. So when you look to the World Health Organization and the fact they're trying to pass a rule and they're going to try and get the Senate to pass it, or Joe Biden is just going to bypass the Senate and say, we're going to accept that and we're going to sign it into law because I'm the president and here's my John Weenie Cock. Is Joe Biden grease strike? The point is they're trying to make us believe that they have this power and this authority. What we need to understand is they don't have the intelligence anymore, and neither do the American people, by and large. Sadly, folks, it is a sad indictment that their intelligence is so low that this is where they have sunk to the very bottom. Believe it or not, folks, we've been here before. We, meaning humanity, we've been here before. I spoke of the greatness of the Persian Empire. Persian Empire extended out of Tehran, what is today known as Iran. Persian Empire, Alexander the Great. These great empires that were created. They brought reading, writing, codified law, agriculture. Believe it or not, early scientific thought and development. It has to start, it has to grow, it has to be expounded upon. Education, philosophy, the creation and development of political processes and thoughts. Hell, folks, 2,000 years ago, they came up with the idea of democracy. 2,000 years later, we're learning exactly how dangerous democracy is, and we don't want it. And in fact, we don't have it. These people are incredibly dangerous. And what they should know about democracy and how dangerous it is. And they should know we have a constitutional republic. And we should know that any concept that is anathema or anti-constitutional is unconstitutional. And it cannot, will not, should not, and never should even be considered, much less stand as law. But here we are with shit hitting the fan. People's brains rotting from taking fentanyl and drugs and other garbage. The government lying to us and using psychological mind control techniques to try and dumb people down, feed them information, control thought. Oh, yeah. Censoring us. They won't quit. They won't go away. Here's a name. Blue Cord Devil. He's back. He says, statement. Don't forget all the farmers' tractors use diesel. My truck and my tractor are diesel. Still need more for the tractor. I tell you what, yeah. We start and end every show essentially saying you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Means of self-defense. Food. Where does your food come from? This is why I say you need 2 months of food. If we have food interruptions, problems, issues, you need 3 months of food. Why not 6? 6 months of food. They could screw up food deliveries. Folks, never mind food deliveries. What about food production, as Blue Cord Devil's talking about? There is an incredible amount of diesel fuel that is sold onto farms so that the tractors can drive back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Folks, can you imagine driving your car or a truck back and forth through a field that's, say, 1,000 acres all day long, knowing that it's going to take 2 months, 3 months, 5 months before that crop comes up and you can harvest it? Back and forth all day long. They work the soil. They grow the food. Then they harvest the food. Back and forth, they drive their tractors. There's not people out there picking beans and tomatoes by hand. Machines do it, folks. Industrial production of food still requires soil, dirt, water. You know what water is. It requires that, folks. It requires fertilizer to get the maximum amount of yield out of those fields. It requires diesel fuel to do all of this. If we don't have diesel fuel, folks, it's not just for the tractors. Get this. How about diesel pumps to pump water out of the ground to irrigate? Diesel pumps to move water from a ditch over the top and into the fields. Irrigation requires diesel fuel. This is before the food even gets sent to the factory where it's processed and preserved in cans and jars and then sent to distribution warehouses where it's stacked very high, waiting for the time when it goes from the distribution center to a local warehouse, to your store, onto the shelf where you buy it 1 or 2 cans at a time, put it in your little shopping cart with other cans and bottles and loaves of bread, and you ring it out where it goes bit, 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 and they go, that'll be $285. And you're like, what? $285? Hey, man, I'm just ringing stuff up. Bit, 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 bit. Inflation, right? And then you take it home and you put it on your shelf. And you're like, yep, turn all the labels to the front so you can see them. Oh, yeah. Got my Chef Boyardee. Got my Spam lined up. Got everything lined up. How much do you have? Because if you go back to that store and you look on the shelf and you take a can of Chef Boyardee off and you put it in your shopping cart, and then you look back up and there's a hole all the way to the back of the shelf. And you turn your head and you look back and forth, and it's hollow behind those cans. There's not much on the shelf. That is where many stores are at now. I've seen it with these eyes. These baby blues have seen shelves looking freaking empty. The meat aisle looking empty. Diesel fuel, folks, isn't for big, smelly semi-trucks on the highway. Diesel fuel is for big, smelly trucks on the highway. It's for your general contractor, your other contractors, your delivery vehicles around town. It is also for the farm, producing food. It's for the mining equipment. Those giant trucks, you've seen them. You've seen the small ones hauling huge amounts of dirt doing development around your city. But the really big ones, they're pulling out of the ground aluminum, steel, copper, zinc. Every metal you can think of comes out of the ground. And it takes these massive trucks, folks. They can have multiple diesel power engines, just V12s powering giant generators because these trucks are electric. They have a giant electric motor that turns these incredible wheels. The wheels alone on these trucks, folks, are 3 freaking stories tall. Can you imagine a tire 25, 30, 40 feet tall? A tire. And then the trucks that are on top of these tires. And they fill these trucks with enormous amounts of raw materials that get turned into the basic materials that make the steel for this, my bunker, the steel for your car, the aluminum for your car, the steel for your cans, the aluminum for your cans, steel, aluminum, the copper that gets added to different materials, electronics, wiring, everything we do. You drive up to a stoplight, there's steel, aluminum, wires, electronics, computer boards, silver. That's our world, folks. It requires these materials. And in order to get it out of the ground, it takes diesel fuel. There is nothing free. There is no electric giant steam freaking shovel that can lift 30 tons in one scoop out of the ground. Sorry, they don't exist. It takes diesel fuel. Maybe they'll create that someday where it's an electric system, a giant electric P&H shovel. Okay, it's just not here yet. They're running on diesel. And literally, folks, what did we hear? There's a huge diesel shortage. Do you think it's going to get better? Do you think all the problems have been solved? Not with Biden in the White House, folks. And I know I'm going long, and I'm continuing to go long and long and long on this. It is the people in charge. This is no fault of yours. This is no fault of mine. I've been on a rant since this freaking video started, and I'm going to finish on a rant. This is not our fault. It is not because we didn't behave. It is not because we, the people, upset God. It's not because we haven't worked hard. It's not because we didn't pay our taxes. It's not because we did anything wrong. We have done everything according to the rule. You may get a speeding ticket, but that doesn't stop the world from producing the goodness. You may have jaywalked one time when no one was looking. That didn't cause all this damage. You have done your job. You go to work. You're productive. You pay your taxes. You stay within the lines. You take your kids to school. You say hi to people. You greet them. You open the door. You do everything a human being should do properly. No one's perfect, but you do everything you can. The amount of productivity you do is at the top. The amount of bad things you do is very minimal. Yet somehow the world is treating us like we haven't done jack shit right, and everything we do is causing destruction. I don't think so. Right? Driving my vehicle from here to there doesn't cause massive amounts of destruction. It doesn't. What you do doesn't cause massive amounts of destruction. You do good things. So why are we facing imminent economic recession, depression, and hard times? Why is it we're now facing SHTF and the stupidity that comes with it? It's intentional. You see, that's the crappy part. It's intentional. In order for everything to go to hell, it requires an incredible amount of corruption and, shall we say, intellectual perversion. And really, folks, a desire to ruin things. Right? That is the adversary. That is that great anti-good thing that's out there. Because they don't like the fact that you're free and that you have a lifestyle. Remember how I've talked about this? You can get in your car and drive where you want. You can go get on a plane or a ship and go on vacation. You can come home from a tiring, difficult day, and you can have a beverage, alcoholic beverage, and relax. Right? If you get sick, you can have the best medication. The wealthiest people, folks, don't have it any better than you. They may have a little bigger house. They may have a little nicer car. They may be more comfortable on a flight or on a cruise. But you can do anything they can do. And they don't like that. They don't. They want to take all of that from you. They want to take ownership of your car, your house, everything away from you, and then say, but you'll be happy. Let us give you a little mental implant, a little wire jammed in the side of your head. And while you're asleep, we'll give you a little lobotomy as well. And you'll be happy. This is where they're going. I've talked in the past also about Flash Gordon. That's right, the early 1980s movie. Dino De Laurentiis did a space opera of Flash Gordon. And Ming the Merciless was played by just a superb actor who's basically playing himself, right? As Ming the Merciless, this universal bad guy. And he tries making a deal with Flash Gordon. And he says, I, Ming the Merciless, give you, Flash Gordon, the opportunity to rule over the earth. The earth. Right? As a kingdom of Mongo. And Flash Gordon's like, what are you talking about, man? You know, this doesn't make any sense. He's like, well, by time I'm done destroying the earth, they'll be very controllable. They'll be very pliable. They'll do what you say. And let's just say they would be satisfied with less. Unbelievable. When I saw this movie as a kid, when I watched it as an adult, it sticks with me, right? Right? The actor Max von Sydow, perfect Ming the Merciless, giant asshole. But what he's saying is, yeah, we're going to make life so difficult for the people of Earth that we're going to offer them a reprieve. We're going to take the pressure and the pain away from them, and they'll be satisfied. They'll be okay with that because they will have had it much, much worse. Folks, that's what they're promising us now, that we'll have nothing and we'll be happy. How is that possible unless we have had it at one point much, much worse? What is Joe Biden doing? He's making things much, much, much worse. It's going to get nasty and bad. Are you prepared? Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed to you all, folks. Please get prepared. Go to thepreparedmind.club wherever you can and get food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine. Get your means of self-defense. Get radios. Get alcohol. Get sugar. Get rice. Get beans. Get long-term food storage. Get water purification. Get clothes that will make it through the winter and keep you warm. Because, oh yeah, like Germany, in America next year, we're being told we're going to have energy crisis issues, folks. Rolling blackouts. Wear a sweater. Wear another sweater as if that's going to solve your problems. That's what they told people in Germany about a month ago. Well, you're going to get cold because we've screwed up the system fighting with Russia. Put on a sweater. Wear more sweaters. Have all those things that you need, folks. And this isn't the last broadcast. Yeah, my computer's on the fritz, but it's not the last broadcast. Chance favors the prepared mind, folks. It does. But you can't just have the prepared mind. You've got to be planned with the physical goods, right? Chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi. Share this video. Share this video, the URL. And thank you for the Super Chat donations. Godspeed to all. Semper Fi. I'll be back bright and early. Until then, you're on your own.